In the headlines, Bauchi Governorship Tribunal affirms Governor Bola Mohammed's election victory. 5,800 suspected cases of diphtheria recorded across 39 local government areas in Kano. Tinubu calls for sanctions on illegal minerals and arms smugglers in Africa in his first speech to the United Nations General Assembly. Bongo son jailed in Gabon. Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We start with the latest in Bauchi as the State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has affirmed the victory of Governor Bola Mohammed of the People's Democratic Party in the March 18 governorship election in the state. The tribunal dismissed the petition filed by the All Progressives Congress APC and its governorship candidate, former Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar retired. Now it held that there is no strong reason to nullify the election as the election was conducted in compliance with the law. Now, the judgment was delivered by a three-man panel chaired by Justice P.T. Kwahar, and INEC had in March declared Mohammed, who polled 525,000 votes, to beat his closest rival and the candidate of the APC, Air Vice Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, who polled 432,000 votes. To Kano State now, where the State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal is still delivering judgment in a petition brought before it by the All Progressive Congress challenging the victory of Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of the NNPP. Now, supporters of both parties thronged the High Court complex at Miller Road to witness the proceedings. The Kano State Commissioner of Police, Hussaini Muhammad Gumel, has said that only 50 people were given access to the court premises deciding over the petition filed before the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal. Some journalists were barred from entering the court premises, and the Commissioner says the tribunal has limited the number of observers in the court. Now, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, has filed 51 grounds of appeal before the Supreme Court seeking the nullification of the judgment of the Presidential Election Petitions Court and the election of President Bola Tinubu. In his notice of appeal, Obi says the Presidential Election Petitions Court erred in law and thereby reached a wrong conclusion when it dismissed the petition he launched to challenge the outcome of the presidential election. He maintains that the five-member panel of the tribunal led by Justice Haruna Samani carried out a miscarriage of justice against him when it held that he did not specify polling units where irregularities occurred during the election. He further faulted the PEPC's dismissal of his case on the premise that he did not specify the figures of votes or scores that were allegedly suppressed or inflated in favor of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC. Mr. Peter Obi also accused the panel of erring in law when it relied on paragraph 4, subsection 1D of subsection 2 and the 54 of the first schedule of the Electoral Act of 2022 to strike out paragraphs of his petition. While accusing the lower court of breaching his right to fair hearing, Obi insisted that evidence of his witnesses were wrongly dismissed as incompetent. Now, following the appointments of a number of youths into the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, an opposition party candidate has commended the efforts of the federal government towards promoting youth engagement in governance. Presidential candidate of Accord Party, Christopher Imumole, says the support provided in the administration will give youths more opportunities to enhance participation in government. He charged the appointees to reposition the country within their capabilities through enabling environment provided to display their political and administrative productivity.
Recently appointed should represent the youth. They should know that this is a window that is open for the young ones, for the youth. A window that should not be misused. A window that should be seen as an opportunity to show to the world that what we have clamored for is actually true. We clamored that the very generation that will reposition this country are the young generation. We clamored that it is the young Nigerians that have the virtuoso, that have the wherewithal to take Nigeria back into the map of prosperous nation in the world. So it beckons on their shoulder to make sure that the position they've been given, I'm not speaking for the president, but I'm speaking for the Nigerian youth who I represented when I contested, must be judiciously used, must be wisely used, must be used to solving the problem that we currently have in our country. We have an enormous problem. Enormous problem inherited by this government, enormous problem that have been there even before today.
To health now, where the Director General of the Kano State Primary Healthcare Management Board, Dr. Muhammad Mahmood, has said that about 520 children are suspected to have died following diphtheria outbreak in the state in 2023. Dr. Mahmood said this while speaking to newsmen at a one-day media orientation on diphtheria outbreak supported by UNICEF in Kano on Tuesday. The Director General added that the cases were reported from 39 local government areas out of the 44 local government areas in the state, adding that the cases worsened within the 8 metropolitan local government councils. Mahmood, who described diphtheria as a threat to child survival, health and the well-being of children, says UNICEF is collaborating with the state government and other partners to respond adequately to emergencies to save the lives of children affected by the disease. He said UNICEF has delivered 1.2 million vaccines to Kano State government this week in its continuing support to the government for response to the diphtheria outbreak across the state. The chief of UNICEF field office in Kano, Rahama Mohammed Farah, says about 60.8% of total suspected cases of diphtheria diseases are from unimmunized children. Farah emphasized the importance of routine immunization as well as dangers relating to the issues of zero doses, saying majority of suspected victims of diphtheria are children who did not receive a single dose of vaccine in the state. Now, over 1,000 hunters have been mobilized to join the fight against banditry across communities in Bauchi State. The district head of Lame, Aliyu Yakubu Lame, has urged village heads across his community to give special attention to the fight against kidnappers and bandits in their communities. Now, the monarch spoke to Adamu Imam in Gumau Lame district of Toro local government area of Bauchi State.
Rising cases of kidnapping in Bauchi State, especially around Lame district in Gumau, Toro local council area, has pushed the kingmaker to mobilize about 1,000 hunters to fish out the kidnappers from their hideout inside the forest. The bandits have been terrorizing people living around these areas. The district head said that the state government and the security agencies have been supportive in the fight against bandits throughout the state.
It is everyone's responsibility. So they should look after people that came in, day out. Look after who are coming into that bush, because they are not living with in the remote areas. They used to live at the hills and also at the bushes.
The Sarkinyak in Bauchi said involvement of hunters to tackle banditry has started yielding positive results.
Obviously, we can say it will definitely come to an end, and we have achieved a lot.
On their part, the mobilized hunters explain how they usually encounter kidnappers and bandits with local weapons and limited resources.
We work
with other vigilante groups, but we are more conversant with the forest area. We patiently search deep inside and endure all the stress because our watchword is no retreat, no surrender till we get them. Though there are leaders from Dogua and Kubwa local government areas of Kano and Kaduna who usually support us in this fight, we however do not relent in fighting them till they are no more in this Lemme forest. The hunters said God helps them whenever they confront the criminals despite their strength on top of the hill. We need assistance in the area of fuel for our motorcycles to continue this fight. We put in a lot of effort to get the job done. We thank God that with this development from Sarkinyaki, we are good to go. People from the town do contribute and take care of us with some amount. But if any group has interest in helping or collaborating with us to end the activities of kidnappers and bandits here, they are very much welcome.
We are doing our best to fight those terrorists. But most of all, we are all poor people. We are taking all these responsibilities from our pockets, and with the support of other poor people. And we are doing our best, but times goes on, maybe we may get tired.
Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed had last week admitted that the state is overwhelmed by activities of bandits who find hiding place in the state because of sustained military offensive against them in other locations. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we answer the question, is 35% affirmative action in Benue State a reality or just a mirage? Details of this and many more stories coming up ahead in just a moment.
Sounds like you're disappointed with the current lot.
We are outside, me and you. Regardless, we could have done better.
That you don't have to sacrifice your conviction. We cannot settle for what is bad.
I sacked a governor because of misappropriating 300,000 naira.
The clamor by the NCSC was a unitary form of government. This doesn't go well with Savannah. So when we said we wanted self-government for Nigeria in 1996, so you count me out.
What you call goal, aims and directives. But the issue of joining politics simply because you want to be given job or to be given contract.
Removing the assumptions, the foundations of their fears, and at the end of it, each and every one of them seems to be surprised.
I was posted to Guachuku. My job was to go from community to community, educating the people how to improve themselves. Government will come to help you.
Welcome back to the news. A quick recap of our top stories at this hour. Bauchi Governorship Tribunal affirms Governor Bala Mohammed's election victory. In Kano, 5,800 suspected cases of diphtheria have so far been recorded across 39 local government areas in the state. Now, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, has given the federal government an extension to act now on its demands or risk an industrial action similar to the threat by the Nigeria Labour Congress. Briefing journalists in Abuja on Tuesday after a closed-door meeting with the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, the TUC President Festus Osifo says the Congress was tired of holding endless meetings and wanted definite pronouncements from the President on its demands. He also clarified what seemed to be a division between the NLC and the TUC, maintaining that there was no crack within their ranks. Now, Labour Minister has also assured the union that the federal government is making efforts to address their concerns. On Tuesday's meeting followed a similar meeting held with the Labour Congress that gave the government a 2-week window to address the impasse. Both parties, however, reached an agreement to allow the government to attend to their demands within 2 weeks. Now, the issues to be addressed within the next 2 weeks include wage awards for federal civil servants, tax exemption for some categories of workers, as well as setting up structures for effective implementation of palliatives being rolled out by the federal government. A request by family of Afrobeat singer Mohbad for the police to investigate the circumstances surrounding his death has been okayed by the Lagos State Police Commissioner Idowu Owohunwa. Now, this was confirmed by the State Police Chief while unveiling the investigative team to newsmen at the command's headquarters in Ikeja, Lagos.
Setting up an investigative panel for the inquiry, the Lagos State Police Commissioner Idowu Owohunwa says the team was constituted to investigate circumstances surrounding the death of the young Nigerian Afrobeat singer Promise Olameji Aloba, popularly known as Mohbad, who died on the 12th of September 2023 in Lagos. Present at the inauguration of the investigation team was the head of the State Criminal Investigation Department, Wahid Ayelara, Deputy Commissioner of Operations, Fatai Tejani, and the deceased family. Addressing journalists, the State Commissioner of Police enumerated the term of reference for the investigation panel.
But we draw confidence in the fact that the Governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has assured us that he will give whatever support we might need from the state in order to aid our drive for justice and for a very conclusive and professionally delivered investigation process. We will leverage on this. We also leverage on the goodwill that the Inspector General of Police has promised to also extend to us.
The police chief urged members of the public to provide the needed information that would help the panel carry out its assignment diligently.
An interim report that will give a clear direction to this investigation will be submitted. And where, as much as legally and professionally permissible, we will continue to share the progress of the investigation with members of the public.
He also assured the public and families of the deceased that the team will deliver on its mandate without fear or favor.
The clamor for women's representation in government is still being echoed across Nigeria as the 35% affirmative action continues to linger in the face of non-compliance at both federal and state level. In this report, Trust TV's Jimmy Azande speaks to a cross-section of women in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, on concerns around marginalization in Hyacinth Alias administration in the state.
The women said there cannot be development in a society that ignores women inclusion because of the development instincts to the female gender.
If women are not included, there is going to be less or no development at all. These women are the ones that know what is happening when it comes to our economy, when it comes to the growth of the younger ones, their children, those that they go out there to meet. The voice of the women needs to be heard. Women are the ones that are down. They know the cries of the citizens. They know the cries of what is going on with every individual. Just by looking at the person, they will know that this is what this person is going through. That is a gift from God. So if they are excluded, I don't think that would be, in fact, it's not even a good thing to do.
While reflecting on the role they played during the elections to support the emergence of the current administration, the women expressed reservations on the possibility of changing the narrative in line with their expectations.
While the elections were going on, I watched out keenly to see who would emerge as a woman in the various positions that were contested. To my greatest dismay, I couldn't get anything. Now, my concern or anticipation is this. Benue State has celebrated the coming of Reverend Dr. Father Hyacinth Alia so much, and we the women are not out of it.
Some of the women, however, hope that Governor Alia will make amends going forward to guarantee women inclusion in governance in order to appreciate their contribution to his success, they claimed during the 2023 elections.
If we go about the ratio of percentage of women to men in Benue State that voted him into office, I think he's supposed to consider us and give us some slots to work with him. Because they say where there is no women, I think the success is limited. But once you have women around, then I think progress will be. And what we want him to do is we want progress work in Benue State. We want him to achieve, and that's what we want him to achieve. We want him to have us in mind and include women in areas that he knows that is key to us to work with him. When I mean work with him, with him for success, so that Benue State will be a change place.
Women participation in politics and governance are said to be pivotal in development of the society. Their continuous marginalization, according to the respondents, is inimical to growth and development. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
To developments on the international scene now, we start with the United Nations General Assembly in New York, as Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday told participants at the General Assembly that sanctions should be handed to companies and persons involved in illegal arms and mineral smuggling in Africa. In a statement by his special advisor, Ajuri Ngilale, the president made the advocacy when he addressed world leaders at the 78th United Nations General Assembly taking place in New York. The president accused foreign entities of contributing to poverty and chaos across parts of Africa. He noted that these foreign entities are carting away Africa's resources that would have been used to develop the continent. On economic investment in Nigeria and across Africa, the president stressed that the country and the continent is open for business.
Foreign entities abated by local criminals who aspire to be petty warlords have drafted thousands of people into servitude to illegally mine gold and other resources. Billions of dollars meant to improve the nation's economy now fuel violent enterprises. If left unchecked, they will threaten peace and place national security at a grave danger. Given the extent of this injustice and the high scales involved, many Africans are asking whether the phenomenon is by accident or by design. Members' nations must reply by working with us to deter their farms and nationals from the 21st century pillage of continent riches.
In other international news, Ali Bongo's son Nuruddin Bongo Valentine and several members of the deposed Gabonese president's cabinet were jailed and charged on Tuesday with high treason and active corruption, the Libreville prosecutor told AFP on Wednesday. Ali Bongo's eldest son, former presidential spokesperson Jesli Ella Ekoga, and 4 other people were indicted on Tuesday and remanded in custody, according to Andre Patrick Reponat, the public prosecutor in Libreville, Gabon's capital. On the very day of the coup, the military arrested one of the sons of the deposed head of state as well as 5 other young senior officials of the government from the office of the former president and his wife, Sylvia Bongo Valentin. Searches of their homes, broadcast extensively on state television, showed them at the feet of trunks, suitcases and bags overflowing with bundles of banknotes. His wife, Bongo Valentin, is under house arrest in Libreville for protection, according to the presidency, and they are arbitrarily detained, according to her lawyers. Ali Bongo, who was initially placed under house arrest in Libreville for several days after the coup, is now, quote, free to move about and has the possibility of traveling abroad, according to the military leadership in a statement released on September 6th. And in sports, ahead of the maiden edition of Africa Football League, the Confederation of African Football has celebrated the achievement of Eimba FC on the continent. The AFL, on its social media handle, celebrated the Eimba CAF Champions League triumph. The 9-time Nigeria Premier League champions won the money-spinning competition back-to-back in 2003 and 2004. The feat marked the first time a team had managed to successfully defend the title in over 30 years. Eimba will lock horns with Wydad Casablanca in the quarterfinals of the inaugural edition of the competition. The competition is set to kick off on October 20th. Well, that's a wrap on the news update at this hour. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Feel free, as always, to follow us across our social media platform, join our YouTube live stream, and visit trusttv.com for more content. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching.